It should be one heck of a match here, as we already saw game one. It felt like Liquid of old. It felt like Liquid were back. They're strong. We've seen them do it in the lower bracket before. We're slightly different roster. TNC, before the series started, we did mention them as a team which is often overrated or underrated, and nobody really knows what's happening. But you know what is happening? Casey sitting down with Liquid. Actually, that's not happening. That has happened, and we can watch it right now.
Kuro, GH, welcome.
Thank you.
So we mentioned TI8. We all made a huge story out of the narrative that of all the teams we had seen come back as TI champs, this felt like the first real chance of seeing a repeat winner 2 years in a row. Did you feel the pressure of that narrative, or did you use that to fuel you?
Certainly there was like some sort of pressure, but I don't think we let it really get to us. It's more like the TI itself is full of pressure, more than anything else.
And it's constantly changing. It's not the kind of game where you win TI and now a year later, 2 years later, you know for sure you're still the best. Like you have to really actively work at it because it's constantly
Dota is
evolving.
a kind of game, it's impossible to just stay on the top for a long time without like putting your soul into it. And even if you put your soul into it, doesn't matter, like someone just overtakes you anyway.
And how is Kuro as a leader? How would you describe him as a leader when that kind of thing happens, trying to keep everybody focused on rolling with the punches?
I mean, it's easy for me to say because I know most of what happens behind the scenes usually. It's hard for the public to understand what Kuro's true job is. It's 90% outside the game that nobody actually sees. So I feel like his true role is not in-game related as much as outside the game, even though he offers an extreme amount of information.
He basically said I'm a shit player, but you know.
I don't want to say it, but
Yeah, how do you separate that? Because I know that you have to make decisions that are business related about friends and teammates. And you know, the most common time for teams to make changes sometimes is right after a TI. You made no roster changes, but then in June, you parted ways with Matumba Man. That had to have been really difficult because you've been playing together as the same players for so long. So I know that that wasn't a decision that you made lightly.
No, there was I mean, I was basically depressed for like 4 weeks afterwards. It sounds silly because I made the decision, but at the end of the day, being captain and leader and whatever of this team, I have so much responsibility. Like they're all trusting me after all to make the right decisions. So getting Weeha and replacing Mato with Weeha is not just like exchanging like a player for a better player. That's not what happened. It's more like Mato was like a victim of these events. Like I just needed to change something right now. That's how I felt.
And how was that as a player for you, GH?
I mean, we all felt some kind of complacency in the team. It felt like everyone was just okay with not being the best. We had some feelings of, okay, we didn't win this one, but we weren't trying our best to win the next one.
Yeah, and he's not talking about Mato. He's talking about the whole team.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it felt the build-up was there, but we didn't know how to deal with it because all of us as players, we actually wanted to win, but we didn't know what was the missing factor, that spark that actually was gonna lead us to win, because no one was feeling this sense of urgency to actually try 120% better to win the game. So the situation was kind of weird because I have never experienced it before. And Kuro was, I mean, I can keep talking highly about Kuro, but he actually foresaw what was going to happen, and he made the best choice by actually changing something. Even though I love Mato and I love him as a person, as a player, but Kuro had stronger idea that something had to change, and I respect him so highly for that because it's not an easy decision. So I was really happy that he had the strength to do what was necessary in order for us to succeed. Our team and Mato as an individual, someone else too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Casey.
Wow, some open-hearted conversations, some heavy topics there that Casey reached together with GH and Kuro. Blitz, I want to get your take on that because obviously you're very close to all of those players and you witnessed all events as a friend of all of them. How was that for you?
That was weird. It's just like, you want to get mad at Liquid at first, because obviously Matu's upset. But he got over it pretty quickly.
Okay.
Like, actually, he told me his biggest regret about this event was, like, they didn't go farther, because he wanted to meet Liquid in, like, the lower bracket and, like, recreate, like, the stair.
Yes.
You know, when Dota fly. He actually wanted to do that, like, for fun. He thought it'd be funny to, like, create some drama. But, like, he's really cool with them all. Like, they hang out, they played a party queue game together while they were still at the tournament.
Yeah, after all, it's a business.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've been there, whether you need to choose whether you want to go in the business side or the friendship, and it's really hard. Sometimes the friendship breaks if they're not strong enough, right?
Now, the main question that was on a lot of fans' minds when that happened, though, and of course that is something that as a captain, again, every time it comes back to decisions and did you make the right one, Trent, we have seen them come second at 2 majors, and even with Matu with second, with Weeha second, and this tournament so far, they're not doing too hot. Was it the right decision?
Oh, I mean, we can't really answer that, I don't think, right? Because we never know what would happen. Maybe you can assume that if they inside and internally and emotionally felt like that could even be done, as someone's getting triggered. If they could even make that kick, then clearly it was the right decision, I think. Because if you've reached the point where it's even possible to pull someone off your team like that, then there must be some sort of a lack of trust or something happening there that things aren't connecting.
Tough decisions for sure. TNC has got some tough decisions to make as well. Banning Chen or hoping that you can take it. Felt like that was kind of what we took away from that game. Most of Tidehunter, of course, in there as well. It feels like the Chinese panel is having some fun with the crowd right now. So we can hear some feedback from that as well.
It's weird, they don't rap. I mean, I would think that was the cheering.
Yeah, they were happy about that.
Yeah.
And you were kind of stunned, Blitz, after the rap segment. I thought you took an arrow.
Oh, you
5 seconds.
No, it was something else. I hadn't heard anything like.
I mean, you're a hip-hop aficionado.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
It was pretty top tier, if I'm going to be honest.
Would you compare him to any particular artists?
I'm not sure. That was pretty. Maybe Blueface or something like that. That was pretty unique.
I don't know who that is. But I'll take your word for it.
Top tier rapper. Let me just say.
What did you think of the beatboxing? That was the most. It started out great, but ended up being pretty jarring at the end.
I simultaneously like Slacks and dislike him more. Like both of them at the same time. It's like
first time I heard about beatboxing was when Roselle released couple of his songs, and this was way better. I don't know if you're into beatboxing. I've listened to it way before, but right now I still think this is one of the best segments we had.
Is Slacks the TNC both overrated and underrated? Is that what you're digging at here?
Ground rule.
the entire time she was asking, like, aren't they your friends? I was like, would I continue to be friends with Jake outside of Dota? It's like simultaneously, he's like one of the people I want to know the most after I'm done with Dota, and the least. It's like, how am I going to introduce him to like my family? It's like, hey, this is Jake. He's like, hi, guys.
Knocks over something in the living room, breaks a lamp.
Like, is my mom going to find that endearing?
Hey, I met your mom. I think she'll be fine with that.
Well,
I think she'll take it in stride.
Okay.
She seems like when she just take it in stride, it's like, okay, this is who he is, and we'll go with that. Like,
I guess.
I mean, you know your mom better than I do.
Nah, she's kind. She'll like Jake for what he is. Why are you saying for what he is? But you're implying that he's
That's not what
normal?
I said. That was your words.
I'm just saying. I'm piggybacking off what
That's literally what you
What was that? Just
What?
trying to put some words in her mouth over there. Noble effort here.
He's a
on
treasure.
the fun panel.
He is.
One of a kind. We have a lot of one of a kind people in our talent group, which I'm very happy with. One of a kinds, of course, also the players on the stage fighting for a chance to survive here at the International 2019. A lot of money on the line as well. Which, by the way, these two teams don't necessarily need. They're good. They're not playing for the money. They're playing for the
You don't need more money in your life.
At some point, a lot of money is a lot of money.
Yes, but I know, like, for example, Liquid. Everyone knows their financial situation, right? Like they want a TI. They're good. They don't need anything.
TNC won WSG twice.
Yeah, they're all good. At this point, you just play for the pride, and the fact that TI is such a cool, unique opportunity to prove that unequivocally you are the best. Like there are very few things or opportunities in life where, you know, like you can say that you're good at something, but it's really hard to prove that you're the best. TI is that opportunity. Screw the money. Like at that point, it's great and it's a great headline, but at this point, like players like Kuroki, they're just playing for legacy.
Yeah, that's why some of these teams who already earned a lot of money throughout all these years of Dota, they are not under the pressure. There's a new coming teams who are probably thinking sometimes in the booth, oh, I've just lost a lot of money, and you can see it on their faces.
All right, guys. It's going to be an exciting match. I want to know from you guys. I don't want to know anything from you guys, actually. I want to know more of the guys that will handle the draft. So let's head over to that right about now.
TNC Predator versus Team Liquid. Game 2.
It's about time I get the respect that I deserve. I know things. I know, Febby, you know things, and Kyle, Febby, I got a lot of questions for you on this next panel. We just saw a turnaround. We saw TNC basically 2-0 Liquid in the group stage. We thought that they had their number. We saw the draft. We heavily favored TNC, and somehow Liquid ended up getting a victory anyway. What the hell happened?
I underrated the troll pick, honestly. I think the troll pick, I thought at first glance, I thought it was going to be too greedy with TA. I thought he needed to be like a lighter hero, but he itemized to be that like early tempo hero, so Wraith King couldn't have the room to breathe. Because Wraith Kings are a carry that can usually fight early, but not against mana burn heroes. And Troll, he got diffuser, so he became that mana burn hero. So we saw the game just blowing out of proportion before Wraith King getting that level 20.
I think that TNC was caught off guard by the sheer amount of physical damage that Liquid's lineup could pull off. You had the Solar Crest Tide, you have Gush, I believe you're talented for it, Troll and TA with the Death, so like it's just so much damage.
Too.
Yeah, that perfect. And you also have Chen, of course, giving a little bit of plus damage as well with the aura. It's so much that once you get ahead, like once they won that one fight and took the mid-racks, it's really difficult for Liquid to lose, especially when they have the team fight of a Tide Hunter to rely upon. And we saw the Ravages usually, they're hitting 2 or 3 heroes per fight easily.
Yeah, so I think I was talking about how TNC prioritizes the Earthshaker, Sand King, and the Bat Rider, and I think Tide is good against all these 3 heroes.
Yeah.
So,
well, what if you just straight up pick the Tide, huh? How
I think that's what they were thinking too. Yeah.
Take a page right out of the book, and they're gonna first pick Tide. Ended up banning out. Man, they keep respect banning the Weepo. Meepo still getting first phase ban, and the Beastmaster again, like you had mentioned.
Yeah, and I think if you compare these team strengths, I feel like TNC has always been just the kings of the skirmishing. They love their guerrilla style warfare. They're oftentimes like they'll make moves in separate areas of the map at once.
And what is the Korean team that we always used to reference that would have that sort of play style?
Yeah. I guess they learned a thing or two from us.
MVP Phoenix, the original the Spirit Breaker days of MVP Phoenix, the Caveman Dota days, and TNC Predator I feel are still carrying the torch a little bit.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, Liquid is more about that just controlled, disciplined Dota, and like they kind of just wear you down. If you're in a scenario where you don't have the ability to 5-on-5 them, it's near impossible to take them down because they're just not going to give you fights that they're behind in. And okay, for a moment there, I thought I heard Miranda like, wait, did Liquid just go ST Miranda inside? That would be good, but of course, that is going to be TNC's hero, most likely the 4 position again, we can assume. I really like the SD Lesh, however, especially against Tide.
Yeah, Lesh is just amazing against Tide. I'm a bit surprised on the Mirana pickup because I was talking to some position 4 players that played Mirana, and they said that this hero needs setup. Like, sure, he can go Atos, but this hero is like, his main strength is the early mid game. That long distance arrow, that like insane amount of damage input, but without a proper setup, it can't land his arrows. There's SD disruption to like counter gank the whatever TNC's aggressions are. And right now, TNC seems like they're gonna have trouble hitting their arrows because they have no stun.
That being said, it used to be very common for Mirana +1s to be roaming around constantly together. Like in the Bane Mirana days, it would always be those two heroes going and taking a tour from lane to lane. Whereas these days, it seems like Mirana is more content that if my mid laner has a stun, or if one of my side lanes has a stun, then that's all you really need. So she really only needs one lane with one stun to be at least somewhat effective as a 4 position.
That is true, but I think more the merrier.
Yes.
There's more play options, there are more kill options. Dota, it becomes really hard if you can't farm out maps properly, and if there's a lot of kill threats from the other team, like a lot of different variables, then it becomes that much more difficult.
I agree. These two teams are flying through the second. Well, really, this entire draft. This is the first time we've seen reserve time touched, and kind of expected if you consider Kuro and Heen. If there's two players that know how the other think, or two drafters rather, it's got to be these guys, as they work together for the better part of 2 years.
Still plenty out that second phase ban. Sven ended up being banned out by Liquid, and TNC Predator respect banning that Templar assassin that we pretty much wrecked shop on in the game 1.
Yeah. It's a long time, but this is arguably the most critical part of the draft from the second pick position, the turn, as we like to call it, because you just ban into immediate pick. And I think this is also, this was a change. Wasn't it just after last TI that this swapped?
I feel like it had been longer than that.
It might have been. I don't know. You lose track, but it, I think, pushed second pick into the better position to draft from, because you get this selection, and then you also get last pick out of the phase. Of course, they go Rubik, one of your prototypical Tide counters. Does mean their support duo, really their whole draft is very squishy at the moment. Liquid could be exploited. Reach, you just get on top of the Lesh, on top of the...
Yeah, I agree. SD, Lesh, Rubik, heroes, they're very squishy, so Liquid has to pick some frontliners on the next two heroes.
Yeah. You think of like a hero, I mean, it's not ideal for the game necessarily, but something like Ember, PA, anything that can just get on top of Liquid, because you then have a setup stun if it's something like an Ember Spirit, and in addition, you have Tide. So whenever you have this huge team fighter that's immobile, I like to see it combined with non-Blink Dagger required initiators, so that you have some ability to create chaos and just let the fight develop so that you don't need to Ravage to initiate.
That's why I really like this Rubik pick, because normally what I would have thought to fill the gap that you're asking for, why not a Tim's Earthshaker, right? Get an Aghanim Scepter on him, something like that. You don't need a Blink Dagger initiator or anything like that, but Rubik famously so good at dealing with Earthshaker just because Stealing Fissure is one of the best spells in the game.
I'm surprised that Liquid have not addressed the Bat Rider with their second phase bans if they were going to go for this route. And Oracle immediately picked up by TNC Predator. This is something we've seen them use in the past. They're not afraid to take heroes like Huskar. Really, there's the plethora of options they could choose to just abuse this sustain combo. And now you have what will most likely be some super tanky hyper carry combined with the Tide Hunter. The team fight's going to be really difficult for Liquid to deal with.
I mean, TNC have had a tendency to go for Bristleback. That strikes.
I love that. That's perfect, right? You just run straight for these squishy backliners. And what does Liquid's draft do right now against the Bristle?
I don't know. I think SD is pretty good against Bristle. I'm sorry to disagree, Kyle, but that's what I think. And I think.
How dare you, Febby? We're all supposed to be friends here.
I'm sorry. He's a bit outdated. Like I almost made it to he hasn't been on the qualifiers. Yada yada yada. But I think they're gonna be picking Juggernaut or PA instead of a Bristleback, because SD just owns Bristleback. His second spell takes away half of his HP.
True.
He's got
Yeah, but you just purge that off, and then he heals back 20% immediately.
Yeah. So specifically with an Oracle, yeah. So an Oracle kind of complicates that.
Febby, didn't we play against each other all the time back in the day? What was our record against Immortals?
all right, that's true.
Kyle, I remember your Shadow Demon also. I famously remember one Shadow Demon game of yours at a TI qual where you just refused to Shadow Poison in Disruption and people kept blinking out of the Disruption. Infuriating.
I don't remember that. It must have blocked it out.
Underlord picked up by Liquid.
Ooh, damage reduction stacking strat.
This is true.
You got the Fade Bolt, you got the Underlord Aura. Still, I think the Dream Bristle game, there is max HP damage from the Wave of Terror, but there's just
I just don't see any like real damage to kill a Bristleback right now. And sure, you got the last pick, but I just think it's the perfect pick here. Maybe an Ursa, maybe a Huskar, some sort of beefy hero that just goes in.
Well, do you like that direction, Febby, or would you like more of the assassin direction that we've been seeing? We've seen a lot of these Phantom Assassin getting Aghanim Scepter or something like that. You don't necessarily need to stick around a long time, you just need to kill them really fast. But they're going to go for a Death Prophet, a hero that does like staying alive for a very long time.
Yeah, with the DP, I especially kind of agree with you because DP Tide, they're just too fatties. I think right now from TNC, they need something
quick and dirty.
Okay. Yeah, something like PA, Anti-Mage, like those type of assassin heroes.
I think they need a stun, guys. You're completely all in on your support duo right now to provide lockdown. And I'm always a bit concerned when I look at a draft and I see 3 cores that don't want to impact the other lanes in the early game. And sure, DP can rotate, pop ultimate, take towers, but you don't have this playmaking hero. So if Liquid get ahead early on and their supports have an advantage, all of a sudden it's just naked arrows flying out here and there. If they don't land, there's no kills happening on the map, and it's then difficult for TNC to capitalize on the teamfight edge, because you need the kill to then secure you the opportunity to push for an objective. You don't want to just be sitting 3 of 3 and just like blowing your spells and walking out of town.
I think TNC wants to pick something like Void or Jug to
got banned. Liquid's one step ahead, unfortunately.
Okay, I didn't see that, but
the Jug is a good idea though.
To complement their like 5-man, I think it's either that or they just want to go late game with Anti-Mage or PA, but they don't see enough information to pick those kind of assassin heroes. So
can at least one of you justify this Underlord pick for me? Because to me that seems like it's coming a little bit out of left field. You had initially mentioned the damage over time for Firestorm being highly effective against, I guess the Tidehunter is one specific hero, but is it really enough to pick an Underlord just for that situation?
I think it kind of fits the category of heroes that Liquid needed. If you look at the first 3 heroes, they needed a front line of a beefy fatty hero slash a teamfight item getter and a teamfight hero.
The Aura Horrors, as I like to call them.
Oh yeah, I guess I like that term. So I think that's the type of hero they.
TNC's lineups also, the first 3 were very low damage. In fact, they still have relatively low damage output, especially if the DP ultimate is on cooldown. Liquid have, well, depending on what they last pick, but just because of the Lesh and the Underlord, like there's so much, they just spam spells, and you're going to be able to out DPS the TNC draft. Still think Ember's a possibility here for TNC? The tower pushes hand.
But I've heard Underlord was really great against. Bristleback, Kyle.
Woohoo! Don't give Kyle credit for that.
You were waiting. I saw your note.
Wow,
that was me.
So they're a bit.
Kyle, why is this Buzz hero good? Please tell me.
We already went into it. We're good. And it's handled. If they weren't paying attention the first time, we don't get it. There's no repeats here. It's TI. You should be a fan. Last pick for Liquid, though. This is where things can get dicey because you need tower damage right now. You need something that does raw physical damage output. We've got to assume it's a miracle hero with the Leshrac for Wii. And
I think they can anti-mage for Liquid, and they can just hold on.
Yeah,
for leaking.
I like a hyper carry. I think that sounds good.
Whoa, fat! Guys, we were both right.
Woo!
Wait, don't high five each other until the camera comes back. Then we can get super hype. I don't even know if it will come back. But you called the anti-mage. Do you think that Liquid Miracle anti-mage, he's going to be able to 1v5, or what's the situation?
I mean, it has to be a 1v5. I mean, Liquid, the other remaining 4 heroes have to play very well in order for anti-mage to come online. And I truly believe that SD is really good against the BB. So I think and we're gonna see that like at least once in the game.
I think it can go either way here, but it is a throwback to like that old vintage Liquid style where you have Miracle. It's a 1-4. It's going to be 4 heroes running around the map trying to make things happen, and Miracle at some point is going to be slotted enough to get a triple kill in some team fight, hopefully take the game. TNC, of course, want to prevent that. They got to take towers early and find big team fights before AM's online.
Well, let's see what the TNC draft justification is as we send it over to Casey, who's speaking to Heen.
Thank you. Yeah, Heen, I'm curious how it feels when you're drafting against your former team. Does it make it easier or harder?
I think there's a little bit of both because Liquid, since this tournament's begun, they've started transforming. I think this series there aren't really any surprises.
What lessons did you take from the first game as you entered your second draft? I know you can't get into specifics. You don't want to give away your strategy, but
I think we chilled too much in the game. And the lineup they used in that first game was something very similar to another one we used in Super Major, just like Chen, Tusk, TA, Snowball. You know, I don't know if there's anything I can do with the information that I know about Liquid. It's just more about us. This tournament's about us and us playing the lineups and the heroes that we feel confident in. Of course, we need to like counterpick at times, but I think what it comes down to is playing well and having faith in what we're trying to build. And
staying focused and playing your own game. Heen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Casey. Yes, game 2 of TNC versus Liquid. We heard what the draft panel had said, and both Feb and Carl make some really good points. Some good calls. Indeed, the last 2 picks being the Bristleback and the anti-mage for TNC and Liquid, respectively. Kind of want to get your insight. The main sort of discussion topic was Bristleback. Can you play it in a game where there's a Shadow Demon?
So I think Shadow Demon, I totally agree with Fabi. I think Shadow Demon is an incredibly good hero versus Bristleback, but I have to, unfortunately, give Kyle a little bit of credit because there is the Oracle. That Fortune's End can be one of those things to always be able to dispel that Soul Catcher, and you can itemize for it as well. So we will probably see Gabby at some point in this game go for something like a Lotus Orb to make sure, something like that to make sure that he can always be sure to dispel that one off. But it's not always you're going to have the situation where you have Fortune's End up or you're in the right position to go for that Gabby. So that's where it can go a little bit of both ways. But yeah, Soul Catcher, very good ability versus Bristle. We have some other fun interactions, of course, too, with this Oracle versus Shadow Demon. There's some mixed between some teams, how Shadow Demon, if you Demonic Purge the target that does get False Promised, that target can't get healed by, you can't get healed by Urn, Healing Salve, your Fate's Edict constantly gets purged as it constantly keeps applying that Dispel, so we could see that come into play as well.
And what do you think about this last pick? The anti-mage coming in, not necessarily a carry that sort of brings us a free win or a necessarily safe carry, but in the right circumstances, it could be pretty darn hard to deal with. Is this going to be a game where you can see Miracle popping off and getting that good Battle Fury timing?
I could, as long as they don't get run over. I think that's the one thing that TNC's draft can really start to take advantage is just steamrolling, getting towers pushed, Gabby just parking himself running at lanes with the Death Prophet pushing towers constantly. Even Bristleback hits towers pretty hard. Once you get your Warpath stacks, you really do start to chunk those down. So it can be a little bit difficult, but I could see it possible. Anti-Mage somehow at TI always starts to come back, right? People are like, dead hero, Battle Fury's crap, not a good item, blah, blah, blah. Somehow this hero slowly trickles back every single one of these internationals.
And one of those heroes as well that we've seen trickle into this game but not into a lot is that Underlord. Mind control, getting the Underlord in this match. I feel this hero is a little underpicked. There's some aspects of this hero that seem incredibly strong, especially that aura, right? And it has that bit of bonus as well. This hero turns into a bit of a right clicker down the line.
He definitely does. And I mean, I remember we had one at the tournament. We had a mid Underlord, didn't we? And that just dominated the game, just took over. I think destroyed like a Templar Assassin in the matchup. So I'm also surprised not to see this hero picked a little bit more too, especially with like Monkey Kings and Ursas being very, very scarcely picked. But we're gonna get to see it. And now they have another thing too. They have maybe that percent damage amped onto the Bristleback as well that they do have from that Underlord. So could be fun to watch. Good to see if Liquid's able to actually rally around that one.
See how some of the lane matchups are going so far. That mid lane, Armo getting the slight lead off. The first few ways, bottom lane. Kuro's going to go for the self-disruption, but TNC, they've got the 3 heroes ready to finish him as he comes back out of his bubble. First blood for TNC off the back of this aggressive tri-lane.
And they're getting themselves a very good matchup up top, this Bristleback versus the Underlord. Underlord's just getting pushed completely back by Gabby for now.
Yeah, mind control just about a quill spray away from dying there.
Yep.
It's got to be very, very careful as Gabby will head over, pick up the bottle from the side shop.
I like that actually a lot. Bristle, he's making sure to spam so much that you can pick up this bottle and it's just fine in this type of 1v1 matchup. You're able to out-sustain very nicely as Weehaw. They're committing forward here.
And they're going to look for the dive. They've got the hold from AU, Crypt Swarm burst and a right reducing AU's right clip one in and will still find the kill. See if he can get his way out of this. He's got a little bit of a heal going. Again, another brute holding back GH. He's certainly making him work for it.
Nice little play. GH does have boots and a lift, so it should inevitably be an easy kill here.
Let's pop it in the salve. That is a salve cancelled. It still continues to keep AU alive. Weehart will come in though, and that will be a dead Oracle and also a dead healing cell. So a little bit of lost gold there for AU.
Weehart gets the last hit though. That's the nice thing. But we see these lanes very dominant right now already from TNC, the way they have it set up. Anti-Mage is still farming though, which is the most important thing for Liquid. But yeah, these other three, Gabby just really taking advantage of this top matchup versus Mind Control.
That's Bristle.
Bristle.
Suddenly going to be able to start running down heroes very soon and even diving that top lane if Mind Control's not too careful.
Especially with AU up here right now, right? With a Fortune's End, a couple he has to be careful of his positioning on this Underlord.
Bottom lane Liquid just trying to keep the mana low on Cuckoo so the harass cannot be there against Miracle.
Yeah, keep a tri-lane. I think this is what you tend to see when there's an anti-mage in the game. As we were saying, top lane.
Gonna have a bit of a shot here. He can TP. But yeah, no hesitation there from Mind Control. Instantly knows he has to get himself out of that situation.
So the thing we panel talked about a little bit, but the limited disable, on not only just because there's a high intelligent TNC, but just look at the stuns coming. Unless they go for something like an Atos, which they probably will on either the support Mirana or somebody else. They also at least have silence as well for Armel, but their catch could be a little bit difficult in that mid game if they allow Miracle to actually get away with the game and get some farm going. But right now, it's looking really solid for them. This is exactly what TNC wants to do. Like Keen said in their in that interview too, they were a little bit too calm in that last game. I think this game they're really going to turn up the heat.
Suddenly, these first 5 minutes just is being cranked up. See if they can get themselves a hold of the 5-minute runes. See how they're going to get split up as both teams are going to try and prepare. TNC is looking a little more prepared, especially on top. They'll grab those two with the setup. See a swing round from the Rubik, looking towards bottom, but in fact, a little too slow for them. It's TNC, then we had to pick up the 3. Still that one on their own half of the map, which won't be looked towards by Liquid, so eventually they'll probably get all 4. Bottom lane, jump forward for Tim with the Starstorm. Kuro's got the stick charges that will save him. Miracle's hunting in the trees for Cuckoo. Cuckoo with the jukes, trying to get himself out of there. Pots the stick charges, but they're suddenly going to end up with giving more mana for Miracle to burn. And Miracle doesn't even need to get the last hit in there. GH and Kuro beat down on Cuckoo and get him out of the lane.
They're trying so hard to just secure Miracle's lane. He's even picked up like a Wraith Band early on so he can have better lane positioning for that anti-mage too. His top. You see these goos start to build up, but they don't want to dive into the tower under that Firestorm. Level 3 Firestorm now already. And Mind Controls are covered. I mean, he still is having a tough matchup, but he's still 25-3. It's pretty decent for the Underlord in that matchup. There's still a bounty rune bottom. I think Tim's actually walked by it. I don't think he bought his bottle from the secret shop too. And
he should have.
I mean, he had a full bottle, so maybe he didn't want to just. But it's just gonna be chilling there, so he'll be able to fill it back up when he gets back up.
I guess it's unlikely that Liquid's gonna randomly go and scout that position. Mid lane is gonna be where Liquid look towards. They need to help We Are out. He's suffering heavily in this matchup. With the 3 of them in the neighborhood, they'll look for Armel. Armel's still alive, tries to turn with the Siphon, but they will have the burst damage to bring him down. Tim's not there, or AU quite in time to help out Armel. A very important kill. You look at that CS in the mid lane, it was 35-16 against 24 for 4. Armel having a sizable advantage. That kill opening up for some very early pressure onto TNC's tier 1 mid.
There's no glyph. That's at that tower. They want to commit forward for it, but he is starting to drop low, and they will TP a couple more heroes forward.
They threaten a TP from Gabby to hold off, but as you say, a lot of damage done very early on in mid.
Tims will get his bottle refilled by Armel TPing in, so he's going to be able to keep moving. Oh, they actually did not refill the bottle. Whoops. Armel did not have an inventory slot there for Tims. Tims might have to back away and try to find that bounty rune if he doesn't know it's there.
Because it's still there.
It's still there.
Tims,
check it out.
Come on. There's money to be made. I'm sure he'll see on the way back towards bottom.
Yep, and now another rotation bottom. Weehart this time with the SD. Easy setup, an easy kill onto Cuckoo.
And no trouble killing a Tide when Leshrak's in town.
SD Lesh. Reason we are seeing it across the majority of the games. Easy to set up kills constantly. Kurok even putting extra points in the Soul Catcher.
Bounty rune.
He's gonna
still
get it. He's gonna get it.
Come on, Tims.
Tims?
There we go. Finally. Oh, this is still it.
He shrined as well, too. He shrined and then he gets it.
Oh, Gabby. We'll get the kill on Mind Control. Always going to be one of those lanes where you have to watch out for that. This Mind Control Underlord very vulnerable to the armor reduction and chase of the Bristleback in lanes.
And just the sheer right-click damage, right? That's what we're talking about with the Warpath. You get that 15% faster and those 22 damage per stack. So plus 124 on Gabby when he was diving there.
Miracle starting to get the basics in.
into his inventory. Ring of Hell stun, so pressure will be kind of harder to put onto Miracle if it's just the Tide alone. Already we've seen Miracle do a good job of getting the CS. It's been slowed down a little bit by Cuckoo's presence. Tim's also hovering around in the area, but Miracle, he's hitting the levels.
Yeah.
And he's hitting a good enough timing with those early icings.
It's not on Gabby's level, of course, because Gabby's had to, he's been like stacking constantly. He had this
kills.
super good matchup versus the Underlord, but still not too bad for Miracle. This is where TNC, though, this is still great positioning for them. Like we said, they have to keep this map and keep this game very aggressive.
On the hunt here for Tims. Scan out from Liquid will confirm that Tims is still around. There's Tims.
Starts his TP.
And he's going to hide in the trees. Kuro.
A little bit of a stare down.
He's not going to look for him. So Tims will be hiding. I guess they almost only saw his TP start. He's going to jump out.
He's got one more leap. They're still stalking him.
That's the setup. See if no, Weehar's already left, so it's just the two of them playing around with Tims. They'll slowly kill him.
They're gonna find him.
They know he's in there.
Oh,
I mean, surely they know he's in there. They saw him lead this way.
Oh, let's look in the mid lane. Well,
it's a lot of time wasted. Yeah, back to hitting the creeps, Miracle. Mid lane tower does finally get pushed down by Weehar, and Tims will live.
That's some space right there for sure.
Yeah.
And now he can still position him for some arrows too, position himself, but his leap is now back online too. So he can actually start doing something and have an impact on the map as well.
Oh, he's looking for an arrow, but that's the creep wave coming in.
He'll take it. 37 gold.
Hey, it's it's accidental steal of the CS from Cuckoo's like, oh, was that me? Sorry, Cuckoo.
Support Miranda's right. They're like, yeah, I didn't mean to hit the
I
didn't mean to, I swear.
I didn't mean to take that CS.
Oops, took another range creep.
No, just trying to hit the carry.
Kuroki setting up deep vision. This is the protection ward. This ward that Kuroki sets up here is the one where it's like they're gonna set up for smokes or moonlight shadows from behind the tier 2 to try to kill Miracle, and this is where we'll try to spot it out. And it's an unexpected ward this early on, so it's a nice one that he is able to put down that TNC is not gonna be aware of at all.
I'm saying again, that's all 4 bounty wins going TNC's way once more.
Yeah.
They're making a lot of money from these bounties. Keeping themselves with this 2k gold lead, TNC.
It really is up to Weehawk to be the one to just like run around with his team to look to set up for those bounty runs, because Underlord and Anti-Mage, these heroes, they're not online. They're going to take such a long time to be able to really do any kind of impact in that fashion. As Mind Control, he's got his like phase boots and stuff finished up, but it's going to be tough for him to really make moves around the map, as that's not really what an Underlord does. He kind of just parks himself in front of a lane until he has more points in that pit.
Yeah, Miracle having to be a little bit careful on that bottom lane as the ghost push comes in from Armel, Kuro.
They're pushing two lanes at the same time right now with this siege creep.
This is the speed and pace that he wanted to see.
Yep.
It's coming out from them this time, TNC.
Yeah, they're playing versus an anti-mage draft. All you want to do is just keep the fight, close the map, restrict the map, and keep the aggression going. But Weehaw, he's also doing something sneaky. Look at that mid lane. He actually gets a full edict inside the tree line there, chunks the tower down 1,200 health. So they're getting a little bit of a trade, at least for themselves. But TNC pressuring 2 lanes like we were saying.
I won't quite find the tier 1 bottom, but they do get the tier 1 top. Gabby's farm continue to skyrocket ahead of any other core on the map right now.
And we see the item that's immediately queued up by him. Hood into first item Lotus Orb. He knows he needs to just address the Soul Catcher. Also very good for his teammates too. But mainly for himself as he switches first now. He will buy the Medallion. I think the Medallion also has its great merits. You can just look to pressure and close the map up and then go to Roche. Gives you that Roche always as well with the goo.
And they'll finish that tower down bottom. And you know, as soon as Gabby took the tier 1 top, he moves himself to the bottom lane. He says, we can start being really aggressive with this power that he's built up. He's level 11. He knows there's not really much that Liquid can do to touch him right now.
There's going to be a lot of dodging around the map from Liquid for quite a while in this game.
Let's try the setup on mid. Kuro. It's going to be able to find it. We are. Stun timing's hit with ease. Tims is found. GH wants to actually finish off that kill. Kuro up to the high ground. It's going to spot out Cuckoo. This is not a fight that Liquid want to try and take, especially with Gabby around. Demonic Purge from Kuroki will come out to hold the Bristleback back. Make sure that Kuro has the space to escape.
This is the trio, like we said, Liquid. They're gonna run around as 3, look to make kills. The other 2, they're just gonna, look, Mind Control's pretty much just gonna be pushing out lanes for the majority of this one, and Miracle's just try to soak the space to get this battle period in decent timing. So TNC, they gotta keep this pressure going. They have to keep looking to make these moves onto the side of Liquid. And they will. They do not want to slow down at all in this game.
The next target's almost certainly going to be the middle. Getting ready to push round Gabby once more, level 12. Gabby continues to farm up those stacks, those jungle camps to keep himself so far ahead. Same importance to be noted the way of Armel, looking at that exorcism. He's got it ready to push with once more. Gabby is by his side.
Has anyone actually queued up the Atos? It looks like just Yules is going to be the choice here for both Tims as well as Armel. So no Atos to go for that like extra catch. Of course, it's pretty easy. Just click Counterspell for an anti-mage, but going to be a little bit limited on their disables, but they still will have those silences if they can find the AM in the side.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's very true, yeah. Rod against AM is... I feel like it's good against bad AMs, right?
Yeah.
Against good AMs, the chance that projectile's hitting him with that and pressing it, you're able to sort of get it through a tree line or get it. Yules being that instant setup. Could certainly be well.
Yeah.
A lot of ways to time it. And TNC's very, very strong with the execution, as we've seen many times. Hope Liquid's going to have a little bit of a look towards him. Moonlight Shadow will be used to try and get him out. He's going to head over, provide some of the back, and the mind control's in trouble. They're straight on top of the as he falls so low, but both of his cores, giving the backup required. For Gabby to go in as well as high ground. Excellent Oracle play.
35 HP. He was one hit from dying there.
He had both of them.
Oh,
he had his eyes everywhere. He was making sure that nobody gets ignored on his team.
Well, he's a platinum tier Oracle, right? He's got level like 20 Oracle.
He's saving everyone.
This guy plays his Oracle. Defense, and now they'll transition into another tower, and we're going to see map being constricted. That's the style that TNC wants to play in this game. Keep running at Liquid as we see. They do not have damage for that Bristleback. Even when they had him isolated for quite a few seconds with that Soul Catcher, he still was able to be just fine.
See what we are. So he's got the timer. The jump out. Wilson missed the arrow. Might not matter and so like that. Pops it down straight away. Everybody, hope you're enjoying the stream. We love you. Back to the game, please. Thank you. Thanks.
That it is, just kill a core, right? Just ravage a core. It's gonna be worth it most of the time. Miracle is starting to get close to that Battle Fury, about 740 gold away from it. So they haven't been able to find him, at least. That's the good thing. Yep. The silver lining there for Liquid, but look at the rest. 6k gold advantage. All of TNC looking really, really comfortable with the game, how it's been going so far, and they're gonna keep putting the pressure on. Even without Ravage, they will look to keep running at the side of Liquid as they... Exorcism's about to be up in about 30 seconds. Smoke's already being prepped.
Let's see what they can do. This is excellent timing, really, across the board from TNC. I don't think they could have hoped for a better start to this.
Yep, it looks...
They're doing everything they needed to. They're making all the moves that are required. It's sort of on Liquid now to slow this all down. They find the catch inside of the jungle. Liquid looking towards Tims. They missed the combo though, and Tims is able to jump away a couple of times. Moonlight Shadow's out. He's going to try and do his best to keep him safe as he's out of vision. He's out of sight. Tims is out of the way. AU will get left behind for his attempt there to save Tims, but Tims will be eternally grateful. Great play there, but he purging off the dust, making sure he could get out with that invis.
That was really interesting too. He got the leap like mid Underlord animation. He was actually rooted after the leap.
That can happen.
That was actually pretty cool.
Similar sort of mechanic, right, as the Sand King Burrow strike. Yep. Once you've got that movement going, you're still in the area, so you can still be caught out by stuns and such, but your body will be propelled to safety.
Yep. That keeps him alive, and they're going to keep looking to constrict that map. You see that Lotus Orb, that big item that Gabby wants in this game is now picked up. So Soul Catcher, not going to be as much of an issue for himself, at least. And it looks like ultis are pretty much at the ready. You can see they're waiting for at least that Death Prophet ulti to come back online before they put too much pressure. And we see Liquid. If you look at their wards in the map, that's how they want to play. They're just like, all right, we're not, like, don't cross the river. Miracle, a bit of a fearsome one. Maybe trying to get some damage here on this bottom tower. And it looks like TNC, they're just going to force the Rosh instead of looking for another tower. Tier 2s are too far.
I think even if Liquid know that this is going on,
they cannot fight this.
They're not going to. over here anytime soon.
No,
This is
pretty crazy of them to try to take this fight.
ages for TNC without a...
So they've identified they're doing Roche. He's trying to get as much structural damage as possible, not actually push much further.
And they poke up for a little bit of action, see if they can find GH Gabby. Oh, he's going to be able to get the snot on him.
But the leaps.
Just prance himself.
Okay, they don't have words. That's why. I was like, they're not actually putting any deep vision down to watch where the anti-mage is. But we see from this control that they've been very well at moving around the map.
We are safe, maybe even he's had a fantastic game so far, but getting caught massively out of position there on the front lines and be a dead Oracle for 20 seconds.
Where they can cross past that river in 4 base, so TNC has a harder time.
Yeah, GH is going to be the one that connects.
And look how long it lasts. Armel is now unstunned.
That's a long, long time. Gotta watch out for the supremacy.
Yeah, you know.
Is that the maths?
No, it's like...
It's less than that.
It's like 7.5.
36% of 5. 7. Yeah, what's it? 7.
We'll round up.
There it is, you know.
Miracle. He's spot for him this time here. They have both heroes with the Yule.
So a bit of a cancel of a TP there, I believe. Like Gabby. See if we can find this up top there. They're trying, but it's Miracle. He's over to the camp. They do ping it. They know that he's gone for the greed.
They get the
He's
silence.
jumped up it. A little far away. Can they get on top of him? An arrow does fly through.
I think that was
actually GH's anyway, so was just being flown through defensively in case anyone was trying to get on top of Miracle. But hey, they achieved what they wanted. Push him away, push onto the tower. Same time though, Liquid, they're getting objectives themselves. So you've got to watch out and be aware of this. Lesh is pushing powers. We are takes that tier 2 with the help of mind control. They're actually pushing up towards the base on the bottom lane. So for as fast as TNC's playing, they're actually getting a lot of pressure brought back their way by this Leshrac.
Yeah, pretty much like perfect moves we see by Liquid, at least in response to that. They see 3-4 heroes set up top. They're like, hey, we have opportunities to go for like the Rakdo, to go for the split push that they need to do it so they can keep getting this farm. And Mind Control pretty much has Solar Crest finished up, so buffing up the AM. It's all about the anti-mage that they're going to be looking to throw everything onto Miracle. And now Miracle, we mentioned some things could be problematic for him. You know, the silence in particular. He almost has the Manta done. Have to be concerned here for TNC. This AM is getting online.
With that Manta, Miracle, I mean, he only sort of dies if he makes mistakes. We have seen Miracle make some mistakes this TI, so, you know, don't write that off. It may still happen, but as you say, once he has the Manta, it should be a pretty free map for the AM to jump around and keep the farm up high. Obviously, there's still that danger of the pushes coming in and the AM being forced to retaliate to the aggression of TNC, but for the most part, if the game stays at a state where WeHa is able to push out these lanes and shove them out as far as he can to make sure that TNC cannot get this 5-man push together down a lane, space is going to be there for AM to jump around the map very safely.
Exactly. I mean, that's literally what they've been doing for the last, like, pretty much the whole game, right? Just mind control in one lane, WeHa in the other one, push it out as far as possible so TNC cannot group up and go for their game-ending play, which we could see them start to set up for here. BKB is finished for Armel. They do want to start really pressing that advantage, try to get these tier 2s, because Liquid, they're getting away with a lot here in this game.
This should be, with the numbers that they have, a very quick kill onto Mind Control. They'll even blow the Ravage for this one. Mind Control found. Arrows out to Kuro in the jungle as they'll get both of the pickups. Instant TP's up top and the jump forward. Tims, he's got the setup for another. Yule's up onto WeHa, turn with Yule's onto the Tide, but AU's ready to chase, so's Tims. They'll try and purge up Tims to try and get that route. He won't be able to quite get on top of WeHa. Arrow's actually going to miss. WeHa with the cheeky sidestep, but TNC, they've got the numbers. 4 of them are up. Another Yule's throws him up. WeHa is surrounded, and they will deal with the push. That threat, that pressure we talked about, both the Underlord and the Leshrac, they're now out of the game.
Yep, and now they're just looking to push down the lanes much more. Gabby was also chasing Miracle around, actually gooing him, and just keep chasing him when he was trying to cut the creep waves. So this is that timing. TNC, they have to make a lot happen. They cannot allow Anti-Mage to keep up this split push.
Anti-Mage Miracle, he is getting close, I'd say, to sort of being able to have a bit of a look into the fights, right? Especially once he has the Scardy, at least a component of it. He's going to have good stats to fight with at this stage. Aegis will now expire, but they'll keep the push going, and a tier 2 tower in the mid will fall. TNC take another objective and hold on to that 4K lead.
Miracle is farming under vision here. And they actually try to get the setup. Tim's really trying to get some Yules into arrow setup, but unable to.
Is under attack.
Miracle, he's gonna pass that #1 net worth pretty soon.
He is, and he's, at this point where there's one tier 2 left to be taken, there's no longer sort of that free money on the map for the push lineup like TNC. The high ground push, that's going to be sort of the next level of difficulty for them. So no longer can they rely on those objectives to keep themselves sort of an item ahead across the cores. The map's going to be open. AM's going to get that farm. Bottom lane, setup's there. They'll catch out Tims. Miracle gets himself involved. In fact, he's the one to get the last. Touch. Level 18 on Miracle, and he has the money for the first ulti orb into that Skadi.
Pretty traditional smoke that we see there, right? We see teams do that so often. Something like that, they make sure to sweep the area into a push. Weeha threatening all the ingredients back up in less than 10. Gabby's just running through into all 5 heroes. He has no fear right now.
And they're having to get away from him as well. Liquid don't want to try and deal with this Bristleback just yet. At least when Liquid are being unnecessarily offensive. They know that they don't need to try and force it. They've just got to try and make sure on the defensive.
They just got to dance. They're just going to have to dance around. On the Bristleback. There's not, if he's not completely iced, but
Chase setups here. The Moonlight. He'll sneak off in the shadow.
Look at him. He's really trying to get a gold damage that's coming in.
Underlord shredded.
400 damage right now with this DD rune. There's no creeps here, TNC.
Bottom lane, top lane, and as you say, the mid lane. Even with no heroes in at the moment, Liquid, that Underlord was chased down. TNC, the pushing Liquid are more than able to make sure the creeps are never in position for next pace.
Weeha, they want to go for blood here. As they know, but that's a boot to travel with a 15. Now GH can do his own flip push too. We feeling concerned for TNC. A big miraculous push here with the Aegis and the cheese, and just make sure that AM can't actually fight directly into all 5 heroes, but they have to make sure that they can keep their side lanes pushed in. They're unable to reduce. Oh, the arrow.
Good little snipe of GH in the trees for Tims. Tims will look to close the gap, but GH is able to get out with the blink down. No instance of damage upon him in time to stop him from making that getaway.
Yeah, Tim's got a little spooked when he saw the AM illusion. Think it could be real.
27 minutes in, 8 to 10. Definitely sort of the kills that, as that anti-mage, you're looking at the top and being very happy with the state of the game.
You look at anti-mage, 330 last, it's 1-0-2.
Yep.
He is getting uncontested farm. He's just blinking around the map freely, and they're not able to get the ward coverage to actually watch him. We've been seeing TNC, they've been getting de-warded quite a lot from Kuroki. He actually got 2 of the recent observer wards, and he's just been moving around the map all over the place, getting them. Just keeping it Miracle safe to farm up the map and then just keep split pushing the side. So they have great reads on the map from how TNC wants to play. TNC, it's pretty telltale how they want to be moving. Grouping up, going for the push all the time. So just keep split pushing. But that Roche, like we said, the next thing big on the menu for TNC. And still contesting fights, 5v5 fights from Liquid is still going to be quite difficult. They have the front line as the BKBs are there to protect versus the mana burn for Armel as well. So I think maybe this is double BKB for TNC. I think they really...
Let's talk about this a bit. Well, Tim's, he's just picked up a Blink Dagger on the Mirana, so he is what just you'll set up.
Catch, yeah. He needs to somehow, and Tim seems to be thinking, which is he just queues up immediately control. We'll get easily brought.
Being able to grab some of those objectives. Flame Miracle.
That actually hits the real one.
TNC, all about these next few minutes of gameplay. And Weeha is trying to fight for this. He is on his own. He does want to look for this town for Tim. Zay is around and Weeha now.
He's just way too speedy, even with that blink beat. Probably just easy enough for him to get away.
Can they get this push together? Yeah, they're just constantly the side lanes. So they can. But if it's not a massively successful racks, the mid lanes are going to start knocking at their own tier 3s.
They have a creep wave in the mid lane. This is what we were saying. This might just be the GG push that they're trying to do here. Exorcism pop. They got the Aghanims, the Cheese, the Aegis. They have to get...
See, Tim's was able to cancel the T seconds. 20 seconds on the bot. With the backdoor protection, they're nearly actually getting that. We'll be able to push
Liquid's
them back.
getting two
problem.
Oh my god.
This is weren't able to really get this push together early on, and rap plays occurring. Weeha is out with the BKB TP. TNC is the question. Has TNC missed their timing?
They'll have lots of damage that they can deal and go to anti-mage. Now a full BKB finish to TNC.
It says it's 50-50 on the... I guess, you know, Gaben being able to run down mid and just... I guess before Lick was able to react or take the side, you look at this anti-mage and you say, well, Miracle, he can go.
Yeah, he can start turning up to the fights for sure. Better control in the game so far here now. Even they have to make something big happen. They're gonna bottom so they can have two line. Lane to push where they lose their mid lane creep wave.
Mid onto Tim's, and Tim's is gone. We'll look towards. He's back up to full. He's trying to keep himself alive with the Spirit Siphons. Miracle's just safe for Armel. He's going to try and turn with the silent self-fuel, so he'll get himself up in the air. He's out. False Promise will keep Armel alive. Serious amounts of damage. Miracle staying tank. And we'll be easily able to blink control. He said, boys, it's time to go into the mid, keeping that pressure on so that they get the 3 kills, TNC. They get the kills. The Tim's are still growing for Liquid. And again, look at those creep waves. Despite the fact that TNC have killed 3, it's very unlikely they're going to be able to do anything.
Chasing TH, and Miracle knows the priority in this game. Just don't ever let them get to that. And we saw the Iascati coming into play there. We see why Miracle picked it up versus these BKBs that TNC were getting.
He was just blinking into the high ground. It doesn't really matter. The AM
have that straight physical damage to do. And sure, like Bristleback can deal that hard physical, some super physical hero that just like really will just stick on him and kill him. Like you see like the Lifesteers, the Basher, Slark or something like that. Someone who can really just bring it to him. control this game, and they're just keeping the lanes all.
Their lineup really was all drafted around those early pushes. They did a good job of taking over control of the map early on, but they couldn't quite shut down the anti-mage's farm, and now they have some huge problems to deal with.
Miracle he's just like, I'm just gonna just keep farming. That's all he really needs to do in this game. Keep farming. 2-0-3, almost 500 last hits at this 34. Missed this game to go late for Liquid.
Clock becomes more and more painful for TNC.
We really now we start seeing that tick start happening. Of course, in the Dota Plus, it's really starting to feel that anti-mage's pressure. It's up to a 62% from that 50-50. Once that Aegis and once Armel does die, Aegis gets reclaimed, and did they actually end up using the cheese as well?
Oh, they did. Armel.
Yeah, he ended up using it as well on top, so they've used pretty much everything, and Liquid, they just keep this push, keep the split push. We are now taking out shrines, it looks like. TNC just running around trying to catch pretty much anything. It's a game of cat and mouse. Liquid really is just controlling the map way better here.
I'm not being caught out either. Into the trees, instant TPs down to the wave down bottom.
And Miracle just, keeps blinking around just freely. Even when right now, they're starting to have an idea of where he is. But he's jumping in, hey you. Quickly has to glimmer himself.
Miracle just hitting the shrine alone.
Right in the middle of them.
What can they do? This anti-mage.
He's got BKB.
He forces AU.
He gets arrow though after the use.
Do they have the damage? There's a disruption that's going to be able to buy him time. Kuro, pop that BKB and get out of there. Kuro will die for trying.
That was, I mean, Kuroki's position saw him, and he's still able to get that perfect disruption. Whew, Miracle definitely looking like he would have gotten brought down there.
He did pop the Ghost in the hope that they would have the control to lock Miracle down, so Ghosts aren't going to be there for TNC to even...
They used both of their big long cooldowns. Immediately when TNC starts splitting up, TP available, he has BKB, so he will be able to just run away.
Where's TNC?
No, they cannot. And
only the support's getting picked off and is playing a tool level 25 on anti-mage. He's got that extra counter spell. I don't know how TNC. This looks like an impossible game for TNC right now.
It really is. It's been feeling like that. Liquid just addressing the split push. They're just constantly pushing those side lanes out the whole game. It really did feel like it was 36 or like 29 minutes where TNC had some like control running around the map, but Liquid just constantly pushing the sides. And you can tell they're probably feeling the same way. They're probably like, this anti-mage is just out of control. The loom and gloom. We always, I know a lot of pros, a lot of players have always said it when you're playing versus like these anti-mages and Medusas and stuff, when they're just like off the map the majority of the game, the back of your mind, you're just thinking about it constantly. You're like, uh-oh. That ticking time bomb.
I am farm rising. Miracle. Liquid. This time they're not messing around, they're ready to start to look for the lead in, gets himself on top of Kuro. Kuro should be the first to fall. As Miracle locks down onto Armel, they will lose Kuroki, but Miracle's going to start to pick apart the backline. His jumps, mind control, and we are burning down Cuckoo. Gabby tried to commit for a kill with his BKBs onto mind control. GH making sure the mind control can get into hard turns to get themselves on top of Gabby, beginning to burn down the mana. Miracle's over to look towards Tims, the self-heals by sometimes for Tims. He's back down. Armel has got the ghosts, but there's already Tims dead. Cuckoo, can they get any kills out of this? They have found Weehaw will fall. So TNC are able to find a pretty big kill, taking the Leshrac out, but still...
Such a costly one. A buyback from Cuckoo.
Yep, and Miracle's reign continues in this game where they cannot do anything about the anti-mage.
GH having a little bit of a showcase right there, having that Stone Ravage from earlier, then also blinking and stealing. there from him, but Miracle just keep himself in such a great spot. Can't kill him, but get rid of that mana.
I mean,
how does TNC do it?
Is there any sort of item you can look at TNC's lineup and say, well, this combination might at least give them a chance of killing this AM? Because obviously once they do, it's going to be a lot of money. And hey, we've all seen those games where it looks seemingly impossible to lose. This AM free farm hasn't died. Dies once, dies again, no buyback, and the game's over. Maybe that can happen, and that's obviously the situation to force onto Liquid.
Looking like a pretty hard one though, as Kuku, he does have a BKB to prevent that mana burn. Fully defensive BKB though. And back to the Roche pit, we see Miracle go inside. They know the fight for TNC, their damage is not there right now. Gabby. We'll start poking him. Only 300 on him.
Well, that's the thing. It loses a cent over and the mana's gone.
He's completely out of mana. Miracle's just in mana, so 2 heroes on TNC have no spells.
They're just, they can't offer anything to the fight. Mana is burned. They're held outside. Demonic Purge being as well used to keep him outside of the pit. Stolen Arrow will flow through, won't make the connection. Miracle's able to pick up the Aegis. Believe able to grab the cheese. They'll get Roshan Liquid, and now they'll look to try and find some of these kills.
Armel can't run. The Eye of Scotty is too much onto him. The arrow connects onto Miracle. They're trying to disengage on TNC, but they can't run.
Miracle is just running into the 5 of them. An arrow does come out. Gabby pops his BKB again. The mana gone. Gabby has nothing to fight with. They'll continue the chase. Miracle's in onto AU. A false promise having to be used upon himself to get him out of there. They're very tanky, TNC. They don't die easily, but they are also unable to do anything easily at all. These heroes now pretty rendered useless as Miracle's in. He sees a chance to blow up AU with a mana void, and her arrow does come out again. Stolen arrow onto Tim's with that extra arcane supremacy debuff increase. He has no chance at all. Gabby's in, and as soon as he's in, the mana is out. Miracle just diving past tier 3 onto the supports, running down AU, jump forward again. It's a triple kill for Miracle. He's just slowly dismantling TNC and slowly doing his best to take them out of the tournament. 3KB popped. He's not going anywhere.
Still no fear. There we go. Now he's gonna give him some respect. Back up. But
he knows. I mean, a 12k, 13k lead. There is no answer at all, as it seems, for this anti-mage. They'll set up an arrow.
They got this one here connected. He has
Manta and also has the blink. They won't even be able to touch that Aegis or get near to touching it.
They just have no damage for him at all anymore. He's got the freest game in the world, it seems like, now on this anti-mage, which was the last pick by Liquid, seeming to play around it absolutely perfectly. Just keeping the game split push. 40-minute mark. AM with top net worth by a long shot.
TNC, what are they able to get themselves close to? We are Armel. Abby is trying to get done for the team, so looking for some of that single target lockdown, which may give them some sort of a shot of tackling Miracle.
They needed these quite a while ago, right? The Hex or the Abyssal Blade, some type of instant type of disable to look for Miracle to catch him when he was doing this, but I mean, he's just at way too much of critical mass here. This anti-mage.
Seemingly the perfect pick. And you could definitely see and understand what TNC went for. We heard it from Heen. They wanted to play this pace. And this is what's sort of the risk of running this sort of lineup here on the main stage. If you are unable to get the job done by a certain point, things just grind to a complete stop.
They went for the Underlord as well. Right, just to contours and then just park yourself just side of the map, and that's been the name. Like, it really is just the definition of this one entirely for Liquid. Past the river after that early game. Now they've got a Hex picked up, the blink and the Hex on Armel. See if it can catch Liquid off guard. But they are all grouped together.
I mean, that AM kill will be Will be worth a hefty penny.
As long as they can bring him down. He's 28 armor and, like you said, 70% magic resistance. So can they actually have the damage? With Ghosts, with everything committed, if they can get the chain lockdown, that could be one of the options. But besides without...
They've got to do it twice.
Yeah, without like Death Prophet Ghost, it seems pretty unlikely. Miracle taking 0 damage from that Purifying Flames. And they're just going to get the push going.
He's just in the racks.
Yep. Ghosts are popped. The Hex, it gets Lotus Orb.
It does. He's going to self-pig himself, arm out.
And GH even stealing Exorcism as well in the backline. He did.
Oh, he did.
Miracle, gonna get stunned up a little bit, but he's just keeping himself shown there for a second, then backs up. But that's what we see. The Ghosts, they have the damage, but can they actually get the catch? As Miracle keeps blinking away. GH has his Ghosts ready to use. He also has a Refresher Shard on Rubik.
Oh, okay. Double Exorcism.
If only they stacked.
Indeed, but just having the duration to be able to push with Miracle again, more than enough time to blink out and away from them. Armel starting to fall low.
Just to the illusions.
He'll get himself a little bit of heal, well, a lot of bit of heal from those Ghosts returning in. False Promise being used by AU to try and get him out back to safety. He's just running straight into the midst of them all with a BKB popped up towards the base.
Done AU.
Forcing the 5 of them back towards their tier 4. They'll turn, they'll look for Weehaw.
GH has the Ravage.
Weehaw does fall. They're able to kill the Lash. Anti-Mage on the high ground on top of Armel. Can he quite finish it above this BKB finish? GH with the Refresher Shard force. He's up to the high ground and has that Ravage ready to play with. Armel is dead without buyback. AU's dead as well. GH is in. Stolen Ravage out onto the 3 of them. They'll lift up the Bristleback, slam him back down. Gabby's out of the game. Miracle's moving in. There'll be a buyback from Gabby. Miracle held back by the Eels, but Weehaw just runs down Tim's. Tim's dead for nearly 2 minutes. Liquid cleaning up another set of racks. There is no hold and seemingly no chance for TNC to turn this one round right now. Gabby, the final hurrah as he'll step forward. Mana's burnt out. Miracle finishes him off. Godlike on the anti-mage.
GG.
And there we have it. They'll tap themselves out of this. GG is called. TNC are out of the competition. And Liquid, with this Game 2 victory, will move on 2-0.
What a series from Liquid, bringing it back, making it look like, the group stages we saw from them, they had some tough times, but these 2 games, it looked like they were pretty much back in form. The last game was some perfect timing with the double BKBs. They make this incredible stuff happen. This time, the split pushing, the shoving of the lanes, just never allowing TNC to do what their draft wanted to do and get that big push going.
You said it's sort of the start. TI comes around, anti-mage returns. You have to watch out for these games on the main stage. If someone like Kuro sees a dream situation to pick that 10th pick AM, you know that you're in for a very tough game. And TNC, obviously not to be sort of too downhearted from this positioning. They've shown us some fantastic Dota in the run so far, but today just not enough to overcome the power that Liquid were able to bring out today. 906 Miracles anti-mage. They couldn't run him over in time.
They couldn't, and they even had some nice showcase plays, right? 2GH got to show off a little bit, getting an Exorcism, stolen some Ravages as well. He also had a spectacular game. Seemed like Liquid just had a really good understanding of how they wanted to play this game. They executed it perfectly and didn't allow TNC to do what they wanted to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, a victory for Liquid as they'll move on in the lower bracket, and goodbyes for TNC. Liquid to take the series 2-0.
Thank you very much, Odie Pixel and Fogged. Indeed, Team Liquid moving forward after a game which seemed like every single one of Liquid's players could make a case of them being the MVP, and that is always a great sign after a match like that. Lacoste, what are your initial thoughts on seeing this form of Liquid?